This is the Redmi Note 14 Pro just launched in India, and this is the Nothing Phone 2A which debuted earlier this year. Both have their unique strengths, but it's their features and overall experience that set them apart from each other. So if you're considering buying either of these, stick around as I'm breaking it all down to help you figure out which one's a better fit. But before that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So let's start with pricing. The Nothing Phone 2A comes in at Rs 23,999, making it a strong contender in the mid-range category. The Redmi Note 14 Pro also starts at the same price when you include special launch offers, keeping things competitive. But when it comes to design, the two phones couldn't be more different in approach. The Redmi Note 14 Pro gets a dual-tone matte back, and I love how it looks, especially in this mint green color. It feels a little plasticky though, so it doesn't exactly feel premium in the hand. But the matte finish does a great job at keeping fingerprints off, which is always a win in my book. The Nothing Phone 2A sticks to its signature semi-transparent back and those awesome glyph lights. They look amazing, but the plastic bag does pick up dust and scratches quite easily. As for the camera design, the Redmi plays it safe with its quirkle module that's clean and simple. But the Nothing Phone 2A goes all in with a pill-shaped horizontal module, which is definitely a quirkier choice. Both phones have symmetrical bezels, but the Redmi offers slimmer bezels and a curved display, giving it a more premium look compared to the flat screen of the Phone 2A. Now when it comes to comfort, both phones are pretty lightweight at 190 grams, but the Redmi offers more rounded edges, which makes it way more comfortable to hold for long periods. The Nothing Phone 2A with its blockier design doesn't feel uncomfortable, but it's not as smooth in the hand as the Redmi. In terms of durability, the Redmi Note 14 Pro takes the crown with its IP68 water resistance, while the Nothing Phone 2A is rated IP54, which means it's splash proof, but not quite as durable in harsher conditions. For the display, the Redmi Note 14 Pro features a slightly smaller 6.67-inch AMOLED screen, but it packs better specs like a 1.5K resolution, Dolby Vision, and a peak brightness of 3000 nits. This makes it much more suitable for outdoor use compared to the Nothing Phone 2A, which maxes out at 1300 nits. The Phone 2A though opts for a flat display that's easier to grip during gaming, offering much more convenience than Redmi's curved edges. Both phones feature 120Hz dynamic refresh rates and they adjust seamlessly depending on usage. Plus, both have reliable in-display fingerprint scanners, though the positioning feels a little low for comfort. The Nothing Phone 2A also stands out in terms of haptics. Its subtle, satisfying feedback is just better than what you get on the Redmi. As for the audio, while they both feature dual stereo speakers that get loud enough, I find the Nothing Phone 2A delivers a richer sound with better bass even at full volume. It just offers a much more enjoyable listening experience overall. Now, when it comes to performance, the Redmi Note 14 Pro runs on the MediaTek Dimensity 7300 Ultra chipset. The Nothing Phone 2A, on the other hand, uses the Dimensity 7200 Pro. But I should point out that these chips aren't direct upgrades, so you're not going to get massive performance gains from the Redmi. In Antutu, the Phone 2A pulled ahead with a 7.36 lakh, while the Note 14 Pro scored 6.53 lakh. In our CPU throttling tests, the Phone 2A held up better, dropping to 92% of its max performance, while the Redmi dropped to 88%. Both phones did well overall though, so throttling wasn't a major issue. For gaming, the Nothing Phone 2A supports 90 FPS gameplay in BGMI, while the Redmi Note 14 Pro can be played on extreme graphics. With the performance mode enabled on the Redmi, I still saw a solid 60 FPS in BGMI, so holding its own in terms of gaming performance. Now in daily use, both phones handle multitasking with ease. I also had 25 to 30 apps open at once and they handled the shuffle without any problems. Both devices offer up to 12GB RAM variants, but storage is limited to UFS 2.2. This is mostly standard for the price range, but it's worth noting that brands like Poco are stepping up with faster UFS 4.0 storage on models like the Poco X6 Pro. Anyway, let's shift our focus to cameras. The Redmi Note 14 Pro features a triple camera setup with a 50MP main sensor, 8MP ultra-wide and a 2MP macro camera, while the Nothing Phone 2A has a dual camera setup with two 50MP sensors, one main and one ultra-wide. Now in terms of image quality, the Redmi Note 14 Pro delivers vibrant, contrast-heavy shots with a warm tone, while the Nothing Phone 2a leans towards more natural colors. For dynamic range, the Nothing Phone 2a falls short, often struggling with highlights and shadows. For zoom, the Redmi Note 14 Pro does better at 2x, preserving more detail when zoomed in. Portrait shots also come out sharper on the Redmi with better edge detection and more consistent background blur. Now when it comes to ultra-wide shots, the Nothing Phone 2a sometimes adds a blue tint to the sky and shadows often get crushed. Neither phones include a telephoto lens, so long-range shots aren't exactly their strong suit. However, in low light, the Nothing Phone 2a pulls ahead with better detail retention while the Redmi struggles to keep up. Now in video, both phones can shoot 4K at 30 fps, but neither really stands out in a big way. But the Nothing Phone 2a does have the edge when it comes to color reproduction. For selfies, the Redmi has a 20 megapixel camera while the Nothing comes with a 32 megapixel sensor. The Nothing Phone definitely pulls ahead here, capturing more detail and offering a better portrait mode for more polished shots. So overall, both of these phones have their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to the cameras, but I prefer the Redmi Note 14 Pro. Let's talk software now. If you're familiar with Nothing OS, you already know how smooth and polished it is. It's free of bloatware and feels like a breath of fresh air. The Redmi Note 14 Pro runs on HyperOS, which offers tons of customization options and AI features. However, it does come with a fair bit of bloatware, and while Xiaomi lets you uninstall most of it, it can be a bit of a hassle to clean up. So both phones come with Android 14 and both promise 3 years of major upgrades and 4 years of security patches, which is reasonable for this price range. But battery life is where the Redmi Note 14 Pro really shines. With its 5500 mAh battery, I found it easily lasts over a day even with heavy use. It supports 45 watt fast charging, which fully charges it in about 1.5 hours. And it even comes with a charger in the box, which is a nice touch. Something the Nothing Phone 2a skips. The Phone 2a's 5000 mAh battery still gets you through a full day, with around 30% left on heavy days and 50% on lighter days. It supports 45 watt charging too, but you'll need to buy the chargers separately to take advantage of that speed. Okay, so now that we've gone through everything, it's time for me to tell you which one I think is a better choice. But hey, if you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This comparison stuff takes a lot of effort. So in the end, both phones have a lot to offer. The Redmi Note 14 Pro is great if you're looking for a phone that can last all day without worrying about charging. And it's got solid performance to back it up. Plus the camera does a pretty decent job with photos. The Nothing Phone 2a on the other hand has a really cool design, a smooth software experience, and it's better for gaming. But when it comes to overall performance, the Redmi is the more well-rounded pick, especially if you're after a reliable all-day phone.